you were in charge of things and you could keep just one player, would it be Klay Thompson or Kevin Durant?
Klay Thompson. Guys can come back from an ACL. It's almost impossible to come back from an Achilles. No one's really done it except Dominique Wilkins. I want people to understand this. This is not like, of course, I hope KD comes back. And certainly the feeling is, oh, he'll be back within a year, within 2 years, he'll be back to being some semblance of himself. Really? I mean, that'd be great if he can do it, but he'd be the second guy in the history of the NBA to come back as most of himself. And by the way, he'll be entering his mid-30s by then. Okay, so that's KD. And by the way, what if KD comes back as a guy who really can't play defense because of the Achilles, but can do most of what he can do offensively? That's still an all-star. Let's say it's a Paul George minus. That's a really nice player. It's a really good player. Is that a supermax contract type player? Klay Thompson is, we always say top 5 shooter. Stephen A will say top 5 shooter. Steph Curry's the greatest shooter of all time. Klay Thompson's top 5. Klay Thompson might be the greatest shooter of all time. I mean, he's certainly in the conversation for greatest shooter ever. And he's a hellified defender, by the way. And he is, you like game on the line. How do you feel about Klay taking the shot all day? Klay's also younger than KD. And he's been a warrior the whole time. He's one of the original Splash Brothers. Ryan Hollins, if he was coming back from the kind of injury where, yeah, there's a really good chance he gets back to being KD, my answer would be different. But that's not the case. The answer is Klay Thompson.
Hey, do you know what a unicorn is?
Sure.
You know what a unicorn is? Something you've just never seen before. Doesn't grow on trees. There's not many of them. You know what that is, right? Mm-hmm. A 7-foot guy with a handle, dribble, can dunk over you. Okay. Let's minus dunk over you. Possibly. There's no question that you keep Kevin Durant. And I hate that if you're the Warriors, if we're even throwing out the hypothetical of having to choose. This is a guy 7 feet tall who can dribble, beat you, knock down shots. And might I add, I played with a 7-footer who could shoot the deep three, who could shoot contested shots. And he played about 100 years in the NBA and probably could have kept playing. I'm talking Dirk Nowitzki. Now, the one thing you talked about is an Achilles injury, something you can't come back from. Have you watched Rudy Gay lately? Because Rudy Gay looks really bouncy, really Springer. And we're not really springy. And we're not comparing this to Kobe Bryant. See, Kobe Bryant had both knees, both shoulders, elbow. You can name any injury that Kobe had at the time that he went down. But if you look at Kevin Durant, he is a surefire pick to be able to play. Not to mention, look at what he did in the finals. He essentially didn't. If you want to know what he might look like, look what he did in the NBA finals. Kevin Durant came out in about 10 or 12 minutes of action and had 9 to 10 points and was literally unstoppable. What? Just doing what, Max? Standing there and shooting threes. So if I got to pick a guy that I got to keep on my team, I'm going Kevin Durant all day.
No. In fact, Kevin Durant wasn't just shooting threes. His passing was excellent. He was great in that 12 minutes or whatever it was, but really great. The problem was then the Achilles popped. Why? Because he has to start and stop. The idea that he can just be a spot-up shooter when he gets back from the injury and he doesn't really need the same kind of athletic kind of springies that other guys need, it's just not true. It's not the way, as you know, or maybe you don't, basketball is played in the NBA. but the truth is, Rudy Gay is a very good observation. Rudy Gay has come back as a very serviceable player. But once upon a time, he was seen as a guy with real star potential, and now he's seen as a serviceable player. And that's the point. When guys come back from this injury, even Dominique, you got to take something off of where they were. So take something off, make him 33 by the time he gets back to where he's the best version of whatever he can be. You're going to have to take away a lot of the defense. That's usually what happens after this injury. You're going to have to take away some of the offense. I'd rather have Klay.
So if I'm going to take away some of the defense, would you rather be a guy that's 6'4" or a guy who's 7 feet? Because keep in mind, I know KD would list himself as 6'9". When I see KD, I'm a true footer. We're eye to eye, brother. He's a true 7-footer. So at worst, what? He guards a power forward? You're not sliding Klay over to the position to guard a 3 or 4.
Klay is 6'7", brother. Who's 6'4"? Klay is 6'7". With
Klay ain't no 6'7". Klay Thompson is not 6'7".
He's an NBA 6'7". whatever you want to call that. He's an NBA 6'7". If you look at other dudes call themselves 6'7", Clay's as tall as them.
Hey, when you had to chase him off a screen, how tall was he, Max?
Hold on. You never met no Klay Thompson. Will you stop it? Chase him off the screen. Would you play him in Summer League? Ryan.
Well, this is the thing.
Listen.
Look,
what's James Harden? How tall is James Harden? He's listed at 6'5".
James about 6'5".
Okay, you're telling me Klay Thompson's not 2 inches taller than James Harden?
Nah, he ain't no 2 inches taller, dog. He ain't no
He's
2 inches taller
than James Harden. The point is, he's a legit, not just 3-and-D wing, but a guy who can also get his own shot better than other 3-and-D wings, get to places that other guys like Danny Green, who I always say is a nice approximation, can't get to. And he can get hotter, Klay Thompson, than anyone who ever lived. That's why he has the most points ever scored in a quarter when he dropped 37, and his second highest quarter total of the same season was 26. That dude, who's coming off a less catastrophic injury, and who's younger than KD, and who's an original Splash brother, is the guy you got to keep.
Do you not see the longevity in being 7 feet? Because I think you're mistaking this. There's a premium at Kevin Durant's size, at his height, at his abilities, at his shooting.
You're just putting it on a tee for me. I know you played in the league for 11 years. What are you talking about?
Okay, Kevin Durant switches out. Let's go defensively.
Played in the league. Yes.
He switches out on Van Fleet, right?
Yeah.
There's a possession. Van Fleet clearly has a speed advantage. KD's hobbled, uses his length, spaces, get a contest. As a matter of fact, talk some trash to him after it happens, brother. So listen, there is no question here. If I'm the Warriors, if I'm any other organization, I'm taking a hobbled Kevin Durant. As a matter of fact, if I'm signing a KD contract and I'm any team, you go blindfolded. You go 5 years, 200, 300 million, whatever it may take.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.